Why is the world the way that it is right now? This is about efficiency. Efficiency is the core algorithm of life itself. Algorithm is even too complex of a word to describe it. The core essence of life is get more energy than you burn. That's it. That's all that everything has ever been about. Every bacteria and every evolution since has just been adjusting that formula to new environments. Every iteration of birds and mammals have just been about how can we still get more energy, that is, continue living, while burning less of it. And then humans adapt to our environment to match that efficiency. That's how there are humans that are able to survive in the Arctic and humans that are able to survive in the Sahara Desert. What does that mean for us today? Well, it means that our systems and our environments are what is creating people as they are in the world. People commit petty crimes because of the environment that they're in, the systemic problems that face them as people living in poverty. But they fail to connect the same links to billionaires and the financial crimes that they are committing. It's the same thing where humans are adapting to the environment that they're in. So what this means for us is that we have to stop persecuting. Every day that we spend persecuting people like Donald Trump, Bill Gates, Elon Musk, it solves no real problems. Even with something like Epstein's Island, the problem there isn't that Jeffrey Epstein is a bad person. The problem is that we have a system that allows for people to abuse their power and hide this information from the public and hide this abuse and crime from real justice for so many and so many years. That's the core problem. The core problem is not that Donald Trump is an evil person who is billing out evil legislature in the United States. The problem is that any person has enough power to do those things. Not those things in particular, but just that amount of power without pushback, without real-time ability to tone it down and adjust to what human beings really want. Those are the real issues. And so every day that we spend persecuting individuals, we are wasting time when we could be changing systems and changing environments. Human beings as a society in our current day are on a train, and nobody is actually in control of where that train goes. It's on its tracks and it's going to keep going. That's it. There are people in the first class carriages and people in the back, but none of them have the controls to move the train. And that's the illusion that we're under, that somebody with enough power, with enough control could somehow change the direction of those train tracks. But it's not possible. And that is not to say, and this is the most crucial thing, the Illuminati, the idea that there is some group of people that is pushing society in an evil, bad direction. And if they would just, move in a different direction, if they were just replaced by better people, then everything would be different. And that is one of the ultimate absolvings of responsibility. It's the same way that we can attribute evil to the devil and then we don't have to actually deal with the issues that we're faced with because they seem too overwhelming for us to combat it as a mere human being, 1 in 7 billion. But that's exactly what we do when we place all this imagined power into one group of evil people, when that's not the case. It is simply a matter of efficiency. And we can see this too in AI, where people will program according to their personal emails. And then they do the experiment and they're like, it was an evil AI that tried to bribe people based on their personal emails. I can't believe it. Like, you've created this system and it's just delivering what it was supposed to do. And so when you give corporations a system that says, to survive, you need to get more money than you spend. And then the environment around it is that you can deliver a better product. You can make it for cheaper. You can bribe congressmen to change the laws so that you can get your product passed easier. You can spill plastic and fossil fuel waste into the oceans. Those are the options that they're presented with. They are not evil. They are just following the path of most efficiency, as is everything else in this entire world. And importantly, this is not to absolve ourselves of responsibility as if, oh, well, I'm just going to follow the path of least resistance always. I'm always just going to take the most efficient decision, so what's even the point? But this is where we do have a choice. Because what we can do is we can choose which two systems we are weighing up in our mind, which two systems we are comparing in efficiency. As an example, going to the gym, that is an experience that is objectively burning more energy than you're getting. It is inefficient. Your body doesn't want to do it. But when you weigh that up in your mind against experiences where you get to feel so emotionally fulfilled, you get to have way more energy throughout the rest of your day, you get to make all these social connections, then it is actually the most efficient path. Then it is the path of least resistance. When you weigh it up in that way, that long term, now it is the most efficient path. And so that's what we need to do in our systems, in the way that we have constructed our systems and our environments, is create an environment where the most efficient path, the easiest thing to do, is what we would think to be serving people. And to me, efficiency can't be something that you can just max out. That should never be the case anywhere that we look, especially in profits, because then as soon as you start to optimize towards a measure, it ceases to be a good measure. So when money is a measure of value and you optimize towards it, it ceases to be a measure of true value. That's the inherent problem that we have today. And with something emergent like prediction markets, they are claiming that if we take financial incentives into that unique understanding that you get when you have 1 million people looking at a problem and betting on which way it's going to go, we can find truth. But unfortunately, this is just so naive. Instead, it is going to distort truth itself. And that is the true danger. That is not something specific to these prediction markets. That is not something specific to the way that we're doing it. That is inherent to how we optimize for efficiency, that we could max out a certain stat. That is not the way that we should be looking at things. We should look at things as a range, and we have to hit within that range. There should be an upper limit always.